The thing about night shifts is they teach you patience. 12 years stocking shelves at the Spokane distribution center, and I learned how to wait. How to move slow through the dark hours, letting the hum of the forklifts fill the silence. What I didn't learn was how to spot a lie living in my own house. My name's Ben Harlan. I'm 41 years old, and 6 months ago, I found a grocery list that ended my marriage. October 15th, 2023. It started with tape. I'd just come off a double, covering for Ramirez, whose kid had the flu, and stopped at Safeway on the way home. Grabbed a cart, loaded up on the usual, milk, eggs, Tyler's Gatorade. The blue kind. Kid was specific about that. The cart handle had this strip of receipt tape stuck to it. Probably from somebody's return, wadded up and forgotten. I peeled it off without thinking, shoved it in my jacket pocket along with the grocery list Sarah had texted me that morning. Didn't look at either until I was home, unloading bags while Tyler demolished a bowl of cereal before school. "Dad, can I have the red Gatorade next time?" "Thought you wanted blue." "Changed my mind." He shrugged with that 10-year-old certainty. "Mom says I'm allowed to change my mind." "Mom's right about that." I smoothed out the receipt tape on the counter. Last week's date. Margie's Diner, 450, Booth 3. Sarah's handwriting in the corner, I'd know those loops anywhere, meet at 8 back booth. The grocery list sat next to it. Her handwriting again. Milk, eggs. Meet at 8. Back booth. I'd read it as meat that morning. Assumed she wanted me to grab ground beef or something. "Hey, bud," I said, keeping my voice level. "Mom have any work dinners this week?" Tyler spooned more cereal. "She goes to that place sometimes. The one with the pie." "Margie's?" "Yeah, with the guy from her work." He said it like it was nothing. Like it was as normal as blue Gatorade. I drove Tyler to school, kissed his forehead, told him to crush his spelling test. Then I sat in the parking lot for 20 minutes, staring at that receipt tape like it might spontaneously combust and take the questions with it. Sarah worked guest services at the Davenport Grand. Good job, decent hours, plenty of overages to sort out when tourists lost their wallets or complained about room charges. She'd mentioned a coworker named Victor a few times. Victor helped with the difficult guests. Victor had a system for handling complaints. Victor, Victor, Victor. That night, Tyler had a soccer game. I called Sarah at halftime, went straight to voicemail. Her recorded voice, cheerful and bright. "Hey, it's Sarah. Leave me a message and I'll call you back." I didn't leave a message. Instead, I drove by Margie's Diner on the way home from the game. Told Tyler I needed gas. The station was across the street, gave me a clear view of the parking lot. Her silver Civic sat 3 spots from the door. "Dad, you're squeezing the steering wheel really hard." "Just tired, bud." Through the diner window, I could see the back booth. 2 shapes. One of them laughed, big, shoulders shaking, and leaned across the table. The other shape leaned in too. The hug lasted longer than any hug between coworkers should. I drove home, put Tyler to bed. Read him 2 chapters of his wizard book even though he only asked for 1. Sat on the edge of his bed after he fell asleep, listening to him breathe. Sarah came home at 9:47. I heard her keys, her footsteps, the refrigerator opening. "Hey!" She appeared in Tyler's doorway, still in her work blouse, smile bright as a camera flash. "How was the game?" "They won. He scored twice." "That's my boy." She blew a kiss toward his sleeping form. "Crazy night at work. Guest overage chaos. Took forever to sort out." I followed her to the kitchen, watched her pour a glass of wine like it was any other Tuesday. "Got your grocery list," I said. "Thanks, babe. Did you remember the—" "Meet at 8, back booth." I set the receipt tape on the counter next to the list. "What's this about?" The wine glass stopped halfway to her lips. I watched her face cycle through surprise, confusion, and something else. Something I'd never seen before. Ben, I drove by Margie's tonight, saw your car, saw you in the booth with someone. She set down the glass, pressed her palms flat on the counter. For a long moment, neither of us said anything. It's been 4 months, she finally said. The kitchen went very quiet. Upstairs, I could hear Tyler's ceiling fan clicking on its rotation. 4 months, I repeated. Your night shifts, Ben. You're never here. I'm asleep when you leave, asleep when you come home. We haven't had a real conversation in. So you found someone to have conversations with. Victor listens. He asks about my day. He notices when I get my hair done. I noticed. I noticed 2 weeks ago and told you it looked nice. You said, thanks, and went back to your phone. It started as coffee, she continued, and now the words came faster, tumbling out like she'd been rehearsing them. Just venting about work, about everything. Then it became more. Dinners. He helped me fudge some overages so I could get away for longer without you noticing. The tips went to him. That's how we covered it. Covered it, I said. Like it was a line item in a budget. Ben, Tyler's upstairs. He mentioned the guy from your work, the one you get pie with. Her face went pale. He doesn't know anything. I've been careful. 4 months of careful. That's something. She reached for me. I stepped back. I want us to work through this, she said. I already told Victor it's over. Tonight was goodbye. I'm choosing us, Ben. I'm choosing our family. I looked at her, really looked, and saw a stranger wearing my wife's face. Tyler's wizard book, I said. The one he loves. The kid in it. He says, the truth is like water. It always finds the cracks. Tyler made me read that part 3 times last week. What are you? I think I need to find some cracks. I slept on the couch that night. First time in 12 years of marriage. The next morning, Sarah acted like nothing had happened. Made Tyler's lunch, kissed his forehead, waved at the bus like the perfect mom in a cereal commercial. When the bus pulled away, she turned to me with that same camera flash smile. We should talk about last night. I think you said enough? Ben, please. It was a mistake. A stupid, lonely mistake. But it's over now. Victor and I? 4 months, Sarah. That's not a mistake. That's a choice you made over and over again. She followed me into the house, heels clicking on the hardwood we'd installed together 3 summers ago. What do you want me to do? I can't undo it. I can only promise it won't happen again. And I'm supposed to believe that? After the receipts? After the planner entries? After our son mentioned the guy from your work like it was common knowledge? Tyler doesn't know anything. Tyler knows more than you think. Kids always do. She grabbed my arm as I headed for the stairs. Where are you going? To pack a bag. I need space to think. Ben, don't do this. Don't blow up our whole life over what? Over you sneaking around for 4 months? Over you fudging company records to fund hotel rooms? Over you treating our marriage like an inconvenience? Her grip tightened. I made a mistake. One mistake. And you're going to throw away 12 years because of it? I looked at her hand on my arm. At the wedding ring she was still wearing. At the face I'd fallen in love with at a college party when neither of us knew anything about anything. You threw away 12 years, Sarah. I'm just finally noticing. I packed a bag, went to work, stocked shelves until 4 a.m., while the fluorescent lights hummed and my head pounded with questions I couldn't answer. November 5th, 2023. The counselor's office smelled like lavender and quiet desperation. Dr. Reeves, gray hair, kind eyes, a certificate from some university I'd never heard of, sat across from us with a legal pad balanced on her knee. Ben, Sarah tells me you've agreed to try reconciliation. Sarah tells a lot of things. Sarah shifted beside me. That's not fair. Let's stay focused, Dr. Reeves said. Ben, what do you need to feel safe in this process? I need to know the full scope, not just what she's admitted, what actually happened. I've told you everything. Have you? I pulled out my phone, scrolled to the photos I'd taken that morning. Your planner. You left it on the kitchen table. I found entries going back to June. V booth circled. Night verify. That's what you called it? Dates matching up with every overtime bonus you told me about. The ones I congratulated you for. Sarah's jaw tightened. You went through my things? You went through our marriage. Dr. Reeves made a note. Sarah, is there anything you haven't disclosed? Long pause. The lavender smell seemed to thicken. There were some financial things, Sarah finally said. Victor covered some shifts for me. On paper, it looked like I was working when I wasn't. The hotel pays overtime bonuses based on those records. So he helped you steal from your employer to fund your affair. It wasn't stealing. It was just creative scheduling. Washington State might disagree. RCW 4946-130. I looked it up. Sarah's eyes widened. You're threatening me? I'm trying to understand what else you're hiding. The session ended early. Dr. Reeves gave us homework, separate journals where we were supposed to log our feelings without judgment. I started mine that night, sitting in the distribution center break room at 2 a.m. The words came easier than I expected. I hired Tara Mills on day 4. She wasn't a PI in the dramatic sense. No trench coat, no camera with a telephoto lens. She was a former HR administrator who'd pivoted into what she called documentation consulting. $100 an hour, paid in cash. I don't do surveillance, she told me at our first meeting, a coffee shop near the airport. I don't hack phones or plant bugs. What I do is help people organize publicly available information. What kind of information? Hotel schedules are public record if you know where to look. Same with certain employee databases. I can map patterns without breaking any laws. She sipped her Americano. Your wife's co-worker, Victor Slade. He's been named in 2 previous complaints at the Davenport. Both dropped before formal investigation. What kind of complaints? The kind that suggest a pattern. She slid a folder across the table. I can give you timelines, documentation, enough to protect yourself in a divorce proceeding. I haven't decided on divorce yet. Tara raised an eyebrow. You're sitting in a coffee shop with a documentation consultant at 7 in the morning. I think you've decided. She was right. I just wasn't ready to say it out loud. The thing that broke me wasn't the affair. It was Tyler's backpack. 2 weeks into the reconciliation, I was helping him pack for school when I noticed a sticker on the front pocket. A cartoon robot with a thumbs up and the words, Victor count in bubble letters. Where'd you get this, bud? Tyler grabbed for the backpack. It's nothing. Doesn't look like nothing. His face did that thing kids' faces do when they're holding a secret they're not sure they should keep. Mom said it was for a game. The robot counts how many times I don't tell Dad about her meetings. If I get to 10, she said Victor would buy me a new video game. The backpack dropped from my hands. Did I do something wrong? Tyler's voice was small. No, bud. No. You did exactly right by telling me. I found Sarah in the bedroom, scrolling through her phone. You made our son your accomplice? She looked up, confused, then saw the backpack in my hand. The color drained from her face. It was just a game, Ben. Something to make him feel included. Included in lying to me? That's what you wanted him to feel included in. You're overreacting. I'm leaving, tonight. I'll be at my brother's. What about Tyler? He's coming with me. You can't just take him. Watch me. December 20th, 2023. Mediation in Washington State is encouraged before filing for divorce. What that really means is you sit in a room with a stranger who charges $130 an hour to watch you and your spouse tear each other apart in slow motion. Our mediator was a woman named Gloria, whose office had motivational posters featuring sunsets and eagles. She took notes on a yellow legal pad and made sympathetic sounds that meant nothing. Sarah, you're requesting an equal parenting plan. Ben, you're requesting primary custody. Let's talk about what's driving those positions. What's driving mine, I said, is that she used our son to cover up her affair. That's a mischaracterization. She gave him a sticker chart to track how well he kept her secrets. Gloria's pen stopped moving. Is this true? Sarah's lawyer, she'd hired one by then, a guy named Derek with too much hair gel, jumped in. My client acknowledges that she made some poor choices in how she communicated with her son during a difficult time. She's committed to co-parenting therapy and she fudged overtime records to fund hotel rooms. I have documentation. Derek's face flickered. Sarah hadn't told him about that part. We're requesting a 60-day evaluation period, I continued. Dr. Reeves can monitor. Tyler's already in therapy. Let his counselor weigh in on what's best for him. Sarah leaned across the table. You're trying to take my son from me. I'm trying to protect him from becoming collateral damage in your lies. The mediation ended without resolution. Gloria suggested we take some time to reflect. That night, I drove by Margie's diner. Old habit. Sarah's Civic was there again, back booth occupied. She'd told me Victor was out of the picture, that it was over. I should have known better. Tara Mills called me on December 22nd. I've got something, she said. Can you meet? Same coffee shop, same table. She had a thicker folder this time. Victor Slade's overtime records don't match the hotel's guest complaint logs, she explained. He was clocked in for shifts when the security desk shows him signing out early. Someone's been covering for him. Sarah? Maybe. But there's another name that keeps showing up, a guest services coordinator named Janelle Price. She's signed off on shift adjustments that benefited both of them. An accomplice? Or a previous associate? Victor has a type, Ben. Women in positions that can make his life easier. I found 3 others in the past 6 years. 2 at previous hotels, 1 at the Davenport before Sarah. I stared at the papers like they might rearrange themselves into something that made sense. He's a predator, Tara said. A professional one. Your wife wasn't his first victim, and she won't be his last. She's not a victim. She made choices. Sure, but she made them with someone who's been perfecting this routine for years. That's not an excuse. It's context. I took the folder home. Stayed up until 3 a.m., reading, cross-referencing, making notes in the margins of my journal. By morning, I had the beginning of a plan. Christmas that year was brutal. Sarah insisted on keeping things normal for Tyler, which meant a tree, presents, the whole performance. We sat in the living room while he opened gifts, maintaining a careful 3-foot distance between us on the couch. Look, Dad, the Lego set I wanted. That's great, bud. Mom, can you help me build it later? Sarah smiled that practiced smile. Of course, sweetheart. I watched her watching him, and I wondered how she did it. How she compartmentalized so completely. The doting mother, the cheating wife, the woman who'd ask her own son to lie for her. 3 different people living in the same body. After Tyler went to bed, she cornered me in the kitchen. This is nice, right? See? We can still do this. We can still be a family. We're not a family, Sarah. We're 2 people pretending for a kid who doesn't deserve to be in the middle of this. Then let's stop pretending. Let's actually try. You had your chance to try. For 4 months, you could have tried. Instead, you chose Victor. She slammed her palm on the counter. I'm so sick of hearing that name. Victor's gone, okay? I haven't seen him in weeks. I told him it was over. That's funny, because I drove by Margie's last Tuesday. Your car was there. Back booth was occupied. The color drained from her face. You're following me now? I'm protecting myself. And Tyler. From what? From me? I'm his mother. A mother who taught him to lie. A mother who gave him stickers for keeping secrets. A mother who… I get it, Ben. I messed up. But you don't get to stand there acting like you're innocent in all this. You work nights. You're never here. When's the last time you actually saw Tyler awake on a weekday? That's my job, Sarah. That's how I pay for this house, for Tyler's school, for your car. And while you're paying for everything, I'm here alone, night after night, staring at the walls, waiting for someone to talk to. So you found someone to talk to, and then you found someone to sleep with. Forgive me if I don't see that as equivalent to working the night shift. She stared at me for a long moment. Something shifted behind her eyes. Something cold. You're going to regret this, Ben. When this is all over, when the lawyers are done and the money's gone and Tyler hates both of us, you're going to wish you'd just forgiven me. Maybe, but at least I'll be able to look at myself in the mirror. January 15th, 2024. Tyler turned 10 on January 8th. Sarah and I managed to get through his birthday party without drawing blood, though she cornered me in the kitchen while he was opening presents. I know you're investigating me. I'm documenting. There's a difference. Whatever you're planning, Ben, it won't work. I've got lawyers. I've got friends at that hotel who will back me up. Friends like Janelle Price? Her face went tight. What do you know about Janelle? Enough. She grabbed my arm, fingers digging in. If you try to destroy me, I'll take Tyler. I'll tell the court you're an absent father. Working nights, never home, always tired. I'll make them believe it. You can try. I'll tell them about your anger issues, the way you punched that bag in the garage until your knuckles bled. I punch a boxing bag to deal with stress. That's called exercise, Sarah. A judge won't see it that way, not when my lawyer paints the picture right. She let go of my arm and walked back to the party, smile already in place for the other parents. I stayed in the kitchen, heart pounding, tasting copper. That night, after Tyler was asleep, I went to the garage and hit the bag until my knuckles cracked open, wrapped them with athletic tape and kept going. It wasn't healthy, I knew that. But it was better than the alternative. The breakthrough came from Tyler's backpack. I was cleaning out his school folder, permission slips, graded worksheets, the usual, when a photograph fell out. Restaurant booth, 2 adults leaning close, faces blurred by motion but recognizable enough. On the back, in Sarah's handwriting. Our spot. Don't show Dad. Tyler found me staring at it. That was supposed to be hidden, he said, voice small. Where did you get this, bud? Mom gave it to me. She said it was a special secret, but then she got mad about something and told me to throw it away. I didn't throw it away. Why not? He looked at his shoes. Because Dr. Amy says secrets that make you feel bad aren't good secrets, and this one made me feel bad. I hugged him so hard he squeaked. You did the right thing, Tyler. You did exactly the right thing. That night, after Tyler was asleep, I called Tara Mills. I need everything you can find on Victor Slade. Not just the patterns, the people, names, dates, whatever's accessible legally. That's going to take time and money. I don't care about either. You should. Divorce proceedings get expensive fast, and Sarah used our son as an alibi, Tara. She gave him a secret-keeping sticker chart. There's a photograph in his backpack with instructions not to show me. Whatever this costs, it's worth it. There was a pause on the line. I'll have something for you by next week. I didn't sleep that night. Or the next. By the 3rd night of insomnia, I was making mistakes at work, mislabeling pallets, losing track of inventory counts. My supervisor, Carl, pulled me aside. You look like roadkill, Harlan. What's going on? Personal stuff. Personal stuff that's making you tag pet food as organic produce? I'll fix it. I know you will. But whatever's going on at home, you need to deal with it. You're one of my best guys, but I can't cover for you forever. I fixed the mistake. Finished my shift. Sat in my truck in the empty parking lot at 4 a.m., watching snow fall on the windshield. My phone buzzed. Text from Sarah. Tyler had a nightmare, called for you. I handled it, but he wants his dad. Come home. I drove to my brother's place instead. Crashed on his couch. Didn't answer when Sarah called at 6 a.m. Dave found me staring at the ceiling when he came down for coffee. She's blowing up your phone. I know. Tyler, okay? Nightmare, she handled it. But he wanted you. Yeah. Dave poured 2 cups of coffee, handed me one. This is going to get ugly, isn't it? It already is. Just don't forget who you're fighting for. It's not about beating Sarah. It's about Tyler. I know. Do you? Because I've seen men go through divorces before. They start out wanting to protect their kids, and they end up wanting to destroy their ex. The kid gets lost somewhere in the middle. I thought about the sticker chart, the photograph, the secrets Tyler had been carrying without understanding why. I won't lose sight of him. I promise. February 20th, 2024. I confronted Victor in the Margie's parking lot on a Thursday evening. Not a smart move. I know that now. But 3 months of documentation, 3 months of watching my son struggle to understand why his parents lived in separate houses, 3 months of Sarah's lies layering on top of each other like geological strata. I needed to look the man in the face. He was taller than I expected. Broader. Had one of those smiles that probably worked on hotel guests and married women alike. Ben Harlan, he said, like we were old friends. Sarah mentioned you might show up eventually. Did she mention the documentation I've been collecting? His smile didn't waver. She mentioned you were paranoid. Working nights does that to people, messes with your head. Your overtime records don't match the hotel's security logs. Someone's been adjusting your schedule to cover for you. I'm guessing Janelle Price, but there might be others. For just a second, something flickered behind his eyes. Then the smile was back. You think you're the first husband to come sniffing around? You're not. And you won't be the last. He stepped closer. Here's what you don't understand, Ben. Sarah came to me. She was lonely, neglected, desperate for someone who actually paid attention. That's on you, not me. She came to you because you're a predator who's been running the same play for years. Different hotels, different women, same routine. Prove it. I'm working on that. He laughed. Actually laughed. Good luck. I've been doing this a long time. I don't leave trails. Everyone leaves trails, Victor. You just haven't met anyone patient enough to follow them. I walked back to my truck. Didn't look back. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely get the key in the ignition. That night, I found a dad support forum online. Spent hours reading stories from other men who'd gone through something similar. One username caught my attention. Night Shift Nurse 82. Her posts were thoughtful, kind, no judgment. I sent a private message. I work nights too. Feels like I'm living in a different time zone from everyone else. How do you cope? She replied within an hour. I don't always. But I try to remember that my kid matters more than my anger. Some days that's enough. Some days it isn't. Is yours a boy or a girl? Boy, 10 years old. He's the only good thing to come out of this whole mess. Then you're luckier than most. Hold on to that. Her name was Mia. I didn't know it then, but she would become important later. March 2024. The divorce filing came on March 3rd. Sarah beat me to the courthouse by 2 hours. She requested 50-50 custody, equal division of assets, and, here's the kicker, Spousal support based on my stable income versus her disrupted career. Her argument? The affair had been discovered. Her word, like it was a natural disaster instead of a choice. And the resulting stress had affected her job performance. Victor had been reassigned to a different department. Janelle Price had taken a sudden leave of absence. The whole guest services division was in chaos. She was positioning herself as the victim. My lawyer, Diane Wu, 5 feet tall and twice as sharp, laughed when she read the filing. She's claiming emotional distress caused by your investigation. That's rich. Can she win with that? Probably not. But she can make things complicated. Washington's a no-fault state, which means the affair itself won't tank her custody claim. What will tank it is the stuff with your son. The sticker chart, the photographs, the secrets. That's parental alienation territory. So we focus on that. We focus on everything. The financial irregularities, the pattern of behavior, the impact on Tyler. I want forensic accountants on those overtime records. I want affidavits from hotel employees. I want a guardian ad litem assigned to evaluate Tyler's best interests. How long will all that take? She sighed. 9 months minimum for the divorce to finalize. Maybe longer if she fights hard, which she will. 9 months. Tyler would be 11 by then. I tried not to think about how many more lies Sarah could plant in that time. April 10th, 2024. The guardian ad litem was a woman named Patricia Okonkwo. 50s, no nonsense, specialized in high-conflict custody cases. She interviewed Tyler 3 times over 2 weeks. At his school, at my brother's house where we were staying, and at a neutral park where she watched him play while asking gentle questions. Her preliminary report landed in my lawyer's inbox on April 8th. Tyler demonstrates a clear preference for his father's household, Diane read aloud. He describes his mother's home as tricky and expressed anxiety about having to remember what not to say. The child shows signs of stress-related behavioral regression, but has made significant progress since beginning therapy. What does that mean for custody? It means Patricia's going to recommend primary placement with you. Sarah's lawyer will fight it, request their own evaluation, delay as long as possible. But this is good, Ben. This is really good. That night, I made Tyler his favorite dinner, tacos with extra cheese, no tomatoes. He ate 3 and asked for a 4th. Dad, is the court lady going to make me live with Mom? The court lady is going to recommend what's best for you. I think that's going to be staying mostly with me, but you'll still see Mom plenty. What if I don't want to see her plenty? That's okay to feel, but she's still your mom. She loves you. She just made some really bad choices about how to show it. He chewed thoughtfully. Like when she told me not to tell you about the restaurant? Yeah, bud. Exactly like that. I'm glad I told you. Me too. Sarah's counteroffensive came in late April. She filed a motion claiming I was alienating Tyler against her. That my obsessive documentation had created a hostile environment. That my anger issues, she actually used that phrase in court documents, made me an unsafe parent. Her evidence? Texts between us where I'd used capital letters. A gym membership at a place that had boxing classes. A therapist's note from years ago where I'd mentioned struggling with frustration. This is grasping at straws, Diane said. But will the judge see it that way? Judge Thompson has seen 100 cases like this. She knows the difference between genuine concern and tactical maneuvering. The motion was denied. Sarah's lawyer requested a continuance to gather additional evidence. Also denied. For the first time in months, I felt something like hope. May 2024. The diner trap wasn't planned. Or maybe it was. I've gone over it so many times in my head that I can't tell anymore. Here's what happened. Tyler had a scout meeting on May 14th. I dropped him off early and went to grab coffee while I waited. Margie's diner was closest. I was sitting in a booth near the back, not Sarah's usual spot, but close, when Victor walked in with a woman I didn't recognize. Young, blonde, employee badge from a hotel I'd never heard of. They sat 2 booths away, close enough for me to hear fragments. Just need you to adjust the schedules like we discussed. It's not a big deal. Everyone does it. But what if someone checks? I'll take care of it. Same as always. You trust me, right? I pulled out my phone, started recording, then stopped. Washington's 2-party consent law meant the audio would be useless in court. But the visual wasn't. I snapped 3 photos. Victor's hand on the woman's arm. His smile. That same predator smile he'd given Sarah. The young blonde's face, uncertain and hopeful. Then I sent a text to Tara Mills. Margie's diner, right now. Bring your camera. She arrived in 15 minutes, sat at the counter, ordered coffee, and documented everything with the careful professionalism of someone who'd done this before. When Victor and the blonde finally left, he spotted me. His face went through about 6 emotions in 2 seconds. You're stalking me now? Public place, Victor. I'm just having coffee. This is harassment. I'll have you arrested. For what? Sitting in a diner? He looked at Tara, at her professional camera, at me. You think you're clever, he said. You think you've got me figured out, but you don't know anything. I know the blonde's name is Christina Walsh. I know she works at the Spokane Valley Marriott. I know you're running the same play you ran on Sarah, on Janelle, on God knows how many others. Victor's face went red. For a second, I thought he might actually swing at me. Part of me hoped he would. Assault charges would have made everything easier. Instead, he turned and walked out. Tara came over to my booth. Got everything. 12 clear shots, including one where you can read her employee badge. What do we do with them? Nothing, legally. But sometimes information has a way of finding its way to interested parties. HR departments, for instance, or corporate compliance officers. That sounds like something you've done before, she smiled. I never reveal my methods, but I will say that sometimes the right rumor in the right ear can accomplish more than a lawsuit. June 5th, 2024. Trial was set for June 17th. In the 2 weeks leading up to it, Sarah's behavior became increasingly erratic. She showed up at Tyler's school unannounced, claiming she needed to check on him. The school called me, I called my lawyer called hers. She sent me 43 texts in one night, alternating between apologies and threats. I never meant to hurt you. If you take my son, I'll destroy you. Can we please just talk? You're a monster for doing this to our family. I still love you. I hate what you've become. I didn't respond to any of them. Saved every single one. The night before trial, I sat in my brother's garage with my journal and a cup of coffee that had gone cold hours ago. You ready? My brother Dave appeared in the doorway. Tomorrow's the big day. I don't know if anyone's ever ready for something like this. Sarah's gonna fight dirty. You know that. I know. And you're okay with that? I thought about Tyler, about the sticker chart, about the photograph I'd found in his backpack, about the way he'd started having nightmares again, the way he flinched whenever his phone buzzed, the way he'd learned to keep secrets before he was old enough to understand why that was wrong. I'm okay with whatever it takes to protect my son. Dave nodded. Then you're ready. The trial. June 17, 2024. Spokane County Superior Court. Judge Elena Thompson presiding. Day 1 was preliminary motions and opening statements. Sarah's lawyer painted her as a woman who'd made mistakes under the pressure of a neglectful spouse. My lawyer painted her as a manipulator who'd used her own child as a shield. Day 2 was my testimony. I sat in that witness chair for 4 hours, walking through the timeline, the grocery list, the receipt tape, The planner entries, the sticker chart, every piece of evidence I'd collected over 8 months. Sarah's lawyer tried to tear me apart on cross-examination. Mr. Harlan, would you describe yourself as an angry person? I describe myself as someone who was lied to for 4 months and has since discovered his wife used their child to cover up those lies. That's not what I asked. Do you have trouble controlling your temper? I box for exercise. I've never hit a person in my life. But you've hit things, haven't you? Punching bags, garage walls? I punch inanimate objects because it's healthier than screaming at my wife. My therapist recommended it. So you admit you need anger management therapy? I admit I see a therapist. Doesn't everyone? There was a murmur in the courtroom. Sarah's lawyer looked annoyed. No further questions. After my testimony, Diane caught me in the hallway. You did well in there. Stayed calm, didn't take the bait. I wanted to reach across and shake him. I know. That's why it was impressive that you didn't. We watched through the glass doors as Sarah and Derek huddled at the far end of the corridor. What do you think they're talking about? Diane shrugged. Strategy, damage control. Probably trying to figure out how to spin the hotel room evidence. Can they spin it? They can try. But 3 affidavits from hotel employees? That's hard to explain away as emotional support. That night, I called Tyler. He was staying with Dave while the trial was happening. We'd agreed it was better to keep him away from the courthouse. Hey, bud. How you doing? Okay. Uncle Dave let me have ice cream for dinner. That sounds about right for Uncle Dave. Dad, when is the court stuff going to be over? Soon, I hope. A few more days. And then what happens? Then we figure out where everyone's going to live and how things are going to work. The judge will help us decide. Is Mom going to be mad at you? I thought about that. Probably. But that's not your problem to worry about, okay? No matter what happens, both of us love you. That part doesn't change. Okay. He was quiet for a second. Dad? I don't want to live with Mom. My heart cracked a little. Why not? Because she makes me keep secrets, and I don't like secrets anymore. I hear you, bud. I hear you. After we hung up, I sat in the dark for a long time, thinking about secrets, about lies, about a little boy who'd been taught that love came with conditions he couldn't fully understand. Day 3 was Sarah's testimony. She cried. She talked about loneliness, about how my night shifts had left her emotionally abandoned. She talked about Victor like he was a mistake she'd already moved past. Then Diane got her on cross-examination. Mrs. Harlan, you testified that your relationship with Victor Slade was purely emotional. Is that correct? Yes. Then can you explain these hotel receipts? Diane handed a stack of papers to the clerk. Room 407 at the Spokane Grand, March 23rd. Room 512 at the same hotel, April 14th. Room 303, May 2nd. All paid for with cash but documented in the hotel's internal system under guest services comps. Sarah's face went white. Her lawyer objected. Judge Thompson overruled. Those weren't... yes, I stayed in those rooms, but... And who stayed with you, Mrs. Harlan? It was for work. Overflow situations when guests... We have affidavits from 3 hotel employees placing Victor Slade in those rooms with you. Would you like me to read them aloud? The crying started again. But this time, even Judge Thompson looked unmoved. Day 4 was the guardian ad litem's testimony. Patricia Okonkwo was precise, professional, devastating. In my assessment, Tyler Harlan has been subjected to emotional manipulation by his mother. The secret-keeping behavior she encouraged has caused significant anxiety and trust issues. While I believe Mrs. Harlan loves her son, her judgment regarding his emotional welfare has been severely compromised. I recommend primary physical custody be awarded to Mr. Harlan, with supervised visitation for Mrs. Harlan until she completes a parenting course and 6 months of individual therapy. Day 5 was closing arguments and the judge's ruling. I don't remember most of it. I remember Diane's voice, clear and strong. I remember Sarah crying again. She'd done a lot of that throughout the trial. I remember Judge Thompson's face as she reviewed her notes. In the matter of Harlan versus Harlan, regarding dissolution of marriage and allocation of parental rights, I closed my eyes, waited. The court finds that primary physical custody shall be awarded to the petitioner, Benjamin Harlan. The respondent, Sarah Harlan, shall have supervised visitation every other weekend pending completion of court-ordered therapy and parenting education. Regarding division of assets, the house. I got the house. The retirement accounts. Split 55-45 in my favor. The judge cited Sarah's dissipation of marital assets through the overtime fraud. Child support. Sarah would pay $340 a month based on her now reduced income. When it was over, I stood outside the courthouse and didn't know what to do with myself. 8 months of preparation, of documentation, of barely sleeping, of watching my son struggle. And it came down to a judge reading from prepared notes in a voice that suggested she'd done this 1,000 times before. Dave found me on a bench by the parking garage. "You won, man. You won." "I know." "Then why do you look like someone ran over your dog?" "Because I shouldn't have had to win. None of this should have happened. If she'd just been honest." "She wasn't. You dealt with it." "Tyler's safe now." "Is he? Is any kid safe after watching their parents tear each other apart in court?" Dave sat down next to me. "Remember what Mom used to say? You can't choose your battles, but you can choose how you fight them. You fought clean, Ben. You documented instead of destroyed. You protected Tyler instead of using him. Whatever happens next, you did this the right way." June 28th, 2024. The anonymous tip went out 2 weeks after the trial. I don't know who sent it. Could have been Tara Mills. Could have been one of the hotel employees who'd signed affidavits. Could have been Janelle Price, finally deciding to cover her own tail. But someone compiled a package. Victor's overtime discrepancies, the pattern of behavior with multiple women, the financial irregularities that crossed from personal misconduct into potential fraud, and sent it to the Davenport Grand's corporate compliance office. The investigation took 3 months. During that time, Victor was reassigned to administrative duties, which is corporate speak for stuck in a windowless room with nothing to do. Sarah was placed on unpaid leave pending review of her involvement. By September, Victor was terminated. No criminal charges. The amounts involved weren't large enough to attract prosecutor attention, but his name went on an internal industry blacklist. Hotels talked to each other. His career was done. Sarah was demoted to housekeeping. Night shift. The irony wasn't lost on me. I didn't feel triumphant. I didn't feel vindicated. Mostly, I felt tired. The first time I saw Sarah after the investigation results came in, she was waiting by my truck in the distribution center parking lot. It was late, after midnight, and the lot was mostly empty. Just my truck, a few others from the night crew, and her Civic parked at an angle that blocked my driver's side door. "We need to talk," she said. "There's nothing to talk about." "They fired him, Ben, Victor, and they demoted me. Because of whatever you told them." "I didn't tell them anything." "Then who did? Those affidavits didn't write themselves." I unlocked my truck with the fob, heard it beep. "Maybe the employees who watched you two play house for months finally got tired of covering for you. This was you. This has your fingerprints all over it. Believe what you want. I'm going home." She stepped in front of me. Even in the dim parking lot lights, I could see how tired she looked. How different from the woman who'd smiled at me across the kitchen just a year ago. "I lost everything, Ben. My job, my house, My son, you lost your title. You still have a job. The house was awarded to me because Tyler needs stability. And Tyler, you still see him, Sarah. Every other weekend, supervised. Supervised? Like I'm some kind of criminal. You used him to lie for you. You gave him a sticker chart to track how well he kept your secrets. You put a photograph in his backpack and told him not to show me. What did you think was going to happen when the court found out? She was crying now. Real tears, not the performance tears from the trial. I was scared, okay? I knew if you found out about Victor, everything would fall apart. I was just trying to hold it together. By making our son complicit in your affair? That was your solution. I wasn't thinking. I was panicking. That's the problem, Sarah. You never think about anyone but yourself. I moved past her, opened my truck door. She grabbed my arm. Ben, please, can we try to be civil? For Tyler's sake? I looked at her hand on my arm. At the wedding ring she was still wearing, even though the divorce had been final for 3 months. You want to be civil? Stop showing up at my job. Stop texting me at 2 a.m. Stop filing motions to modify custody every time something doesn't go your way. Do your therapy, do your parenting classes, and maybe we can talk about being civil. I got in my truck, drove away, watched her shrink in my rearview mirror until she was just a shape in the darkness. July-October 2024. The summer after the divorce was about rebuilding. I got promoted to day shift lead at the distribution center. Regular hours, weekends off, time to actually see Tyler awake. My boss, a guy named Carl who'd been covering for me during the worst of the legal drama, shook my hand when he gave me the news. You've earned this, Ben. Watching you hold it together these past months, that took something. Tyler started 5th grade. New school, new friends, new start. He still had therapy twice a month, still had the occasional nightmare, still flinched sometimes when the phone rang. But he was also laughing more, sleeping better, eating everything I put in front of him. Mia, night shift nurse 82, and I kept messaging, then texting, then talking on the phone during my lunch breaks while she was on her night shift coffee break. She was divorced too. 2 years ahead of me on the recovery timeline. Had a daughter named Lily, who was Tyler's age. You're doing better than you think, she told me one night. Most men I know who went through what you did, they either fall apart or turn bitter. You're doing neither. I don't feel like I'm doing much of anything. That's how healing works. You don't notice it until you look back and realize how far you've come. Our first face-to-face meeting happened at a coffee shop halfway between Spokane and her town. Neutral territory. She had short dark hair, laugh lines around her eyes, and a way of looking at you that made you feel like you were the only person in the room. You're taller than I expected, she said. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Haven't decided yet. We talked for 3 hours about our exes, our kids, our jobs, about the specific kind of loneliness that comes from night shifts and empty beds, about the way betrayal rewires your brain so you're always looking for the next lie. I used to think I'd never trust anyone again, Mia said. After David left, I spent 2 years assuming everyone was hiding something. And now I think, some people are hiding things, but not everyone. You just have to get better at telling the difference. How do you tell the difference? She smiled. I haven't figured that out yet, but I'll let you know when I do. When we finally left the coffee shop, the sun was setting. We stood in the parking lot, neither of us quite ready to say goodbye. This was nice, I said. It was. Can we do it again sometime? I'd like that. She kissed me on the cheek before getting in her car. Quick, almost shy. I stood there like an idiot, watching her drive away, feeling something I hadn't felt in months. Hope. Sarah made 2 attempts to modify the custody order over the summer. Both were denied. The first time she claimed my work schedule change meant we should revisit the arrangement. The second time, she accused me of poisoning Tyler against her because he'd started calling her by her first name instead of mom. The judge was not amused. Mrs. Harlan, this court has given you a clear path toward expanded custody. Complete your therapy, complete your parenting classes, demonstrate 6 months of stable employment and housing. Until then, I don't want to see another modification request on my docket. October 15th, 2024. 1 year to the day since I found that grocery list. I was in the kitchen making breakfast, scrambled eggs, Tyler's favorite, when he came downstairs with his school backpack. Dad, can I ask you something? Always. Are you happy? The question caught me off guard. What do you mean? Like, you and Mom used to fight a lot before everything happened. Now you don't fight because she's not here. But you also don't laugh as much. I was wondering if you're happy or if you're just not fighting. 10 years old. The kid was 10 years old and he was asking questions like a philosopher. I'm getting happy, I said finally. It's like, you know how when you scrape your knee, it hurts really bad at first, then it scabs over, then the scab falls off and there's new pink skin underneath? Yeah? That's what this year has been like. The hurt happened. The scab formed. I think the new skin is starting to show. Tyler considered this. Is Mia part of the new skin? I almost dropped the spatula. How do you know about Mia? Dad, you smile when you text her. It's really obvious. We're just friends. Okay. He grabbed a piece of bacon from the plate. But if she ever wants to come over for dinner, I promise I'll be nice. November 2024. Mia and I had our first real date on November 8th. Coffee, which turned into lunch, which turned into walking around Riverfront Park until the sun went down. She told me about her ex-husband, a doctor who'd traded her in for a younger nurse when Lily was 3. The parallels were uncomfortable. Do you ever regret it? She asked. The way you handled things? Which part? Any of it. The investigation, the documentation, the trial. Sometimes I wonder if I should have fought harder when my ex left. But I was so tired, and Lily was so young. I don't regret protecting Tyler. The other stuff, the stuff with Victor, with Sarah's job, I don't know. Some nights I wonder if I went too far. Other nights I think I didn't go far enough. What would far enough look like? I thought about it. Really thought about it. Honestly, I think far enough would have been her understanding what she did. Actually understanding, not just getting caught, not just losing her job, but really grasping the damage she caused. To Tyler, to me, to us. Has she shown any sign of that? No. Her last few texts have been about how I destroyed her life. Like she wasn't the one who started the fire. Mia took my hand. Her fingers were warm, slightly calloused from years of hospital work. You can't make someone understand something they're committed to not understanding. All you can do is build something better. December 2024. Sarah showed up at Tyler's school Christmas concert without permission. She wasn't supposed to be there. Her visitation was still supervised, still limited to specific times and places. But she walked right into the auditorium, found a seat 3 rows behind me, and started recording Tyler's class on her phone. I didn't notice until intermission when Tyler came running over. Dad, Mom's here. I know, bud. It's okay. Is she allowed to be here? Not exactly, but we're not going to make a scene. Just do your performance and let me handle it. The second half of the concert felt endless. I could feel Sarah's eyes on the back of my head. When it was finally over, I sent Tyler to wait with his teacher and went to talk to her. What are you doing here, Sarah? Watching my son's concert. Is that a crime now? According to the custody order, yes, actually. She laughed. It wasn't a pleasant sound. You've taken everything from me. My job, my house, my child. The least you can do is let me watch him sing Jingle Bells. You took those things from yourself. I just documented it. You're so righteous, Ben. So sure you're the good guy in all this. But you know what? Good guys don't hire investigators. Good guys don't leak information to corporate compliance. Good guys don't systematically destroy their wife's life. And good guys don't use their children as alibis. She stepped closer. I could smell wine on her breath. Tyler will figure out what you did eventually. When he's older, when he understands how the world actually works, and when he does, he'll hate you for it. Maybe, but at least he'll know I never lied to him. I walked away, called my lawyer from the car. Another violation report for the file. January 2025. Mia met Tyler on January 12th. We kept it casual, pizza and video games at my place, Lily included. The kids hit it off immediately. Some kind of instant friendship that only children seem capable of. Your dad's pretty cool, Lily told Tyler while they argued over Mario Kart characters. Yeah, he makes good tacos. My mom makes really bad tacos. Maybe they can make tacos together and learn from each other. Mia and I exchanged looks across the living room. She was smiling. So was I. The custody modification came through in February. Sarah had completed her therapy, completed her parenting classes, held a steady job for 6 months. Judge Thompson signed off on expanded visitation, unsupervised, every other weekend, alternating holidays. Tyler was nervous about it. What if she asked me to keep secrets again? Then you tell me. That's our rule. No secrets that make you feel bad. What if she gets mad? Then she gets mad. That's her problem, not yours. Your only job is to be honest. The first unsupervised weekend was rough. Tyler came home subdued, quieter than usual. It took 3 days before he told me what happened. She cried a lot. She said she was sorry. She said she wished things were different. How did that make you feel? I don't know. Weird. Like I was supposed to say something that would make her feel better, but I didn't know what. You're not responsible for making her feel better, bud. That's not your job. I know. It just felt like it was. March 2025, I proposed to Mia on March 21st, first day of spring. We were at Riverfront Park, same place we'd walked on our first date. Tyler and Lily were chasing pigeons near the carousel, oblivious to what was about to happen. The ring was simple. Platinum band, small diamond. I'd bought it with money from the overtime I'd been working since the promotion. Mia, I know this is fast. I know we've both been through things that make it hard to trust again. But when I'm with you, I feel like I'm finally becoming the person I was supposed to be all along. Will you marry me? She looked at the ring, looked at me, looked at the kids still chasing pigeons. Yes, she said. Yes, obviously yes. Tyler and Lily came running when they heard Mia shriek. What happened? Tyler asked. Your dad asked me a question. What question? Mia held up her hand. The ring caught the afternoon light. Tyler's face went through surprise, confusion, then something that looked a lot like hope. Does this mean Lily's going to be my sister? Stepsister, I said. But yeah, if that's okay with you. He thought about it for approximately 2 seconds. Does she like tacos? She loves tacos, Lily said. Then it's okay with me. We went for pizza that night, all 4 of us. Tyler and Lily argued over toppings, eventually compromising on half pepperoni, half Hawaiian. Mia and I sat on the same side of the booth, shoulders touching. This feels weird, Tyler said suddenly. Weird how? I asked. Good weird. Like, when you have a dream that everything works out and then you wake up scared it wasn't real? Mia reached across the table and squeezed his hand. It's real, buddy. I promise. And you're not going to leave? Like Mom left? The table went quiet. Lily looked at her plate. Mia's grip on Tyler's hand tightened. I'm not going to leave, Mia said. And your dad's not going to leave. We're building something here. All four of us. It's going to take time and it's going to be hard sometimes, but we're in it together. Tyler nodded slowly. Okay. Okay? Yeah, okay. He grabbed another slice of pizza. Can we get dessert? April 2025. Sarah's final attempt to sabotage things came in the form of a text, sent at 2 a.m. on April 14th. Just heard about the engagement. Hope she knows what she's getting. A man who destroys everyone who disappoints him. You'll do the same to her eventually. You'll do the same to Tyler. It's who you are. I stared at the screen for a long time. Thought about all the ways I could respond, the documentation I could reference, the court orders she was violating by sending threatening messages. Instead, I put down the phone, walked to the kitchen, made a cup of coffee. Mia found me there an hour later, staring out the window at the dark backyard. Couldn't sleep, she asked. Sarah texted. What did she say? I showed her the phone, watched her face as she read it. Wow, she said finally. That's something. She's angry, I get it. She lost everything. She lost everything because of choices she made. That's not your fault. I know. But sometimes I wonder if I could have handled it differently. Less scorched earth, more what? Forgiveness? Ben, she used your son to cover up her affair. She taught him to lie. She put him in an impossible position. You didn't scorched earth anything. You protected your kid. I also got her demoted, got her boyfriend fired, made sure the whole hotel knew what happened. Mia set down the phone, took my face in her hands. Listen to me. You did what you had to do. You built a case. You protected Tyler, and you came out the other side. That's not revenge. That's survival. Is it? Yes. Now come back to bed. Tomorrow's the wedding planning meeting and I need you conscious. June 2025. The wedding was small. Backyard ceremony. 30 guests. Tyler as my best man and Lily as Mia's maid of honor. Dave gave a toast that made everyone cry. Carl from work showed up with a case of beer and a card signed by the entire distribution center. Mia wore a blue dress. Not white. She'd done white the first time and didn't want to repeat history. The ceremony was simple. A friend of Mia's officiated, a woman named Patricia who'd gone through her own divorce a few years back. She read a poem about second chances and broken roads and all the cliches that feel less cliche when you've actually lived them. When it came time for the vows, I forgot everything I'd prepared to say. Mia, I had a speech, but I'm looking at you right now, and none of it seems right. She smiled. Just say what's true. What's true is that 2 years ago, I found a grocery list that destroyed my life. And somehow, out of all that wreckage, I found you. I found us. I found a reason to believe that broken things can be put back together. That's better than any speech. I'm not done. What's also true is that I'm scared. I was married before and I thought it was forever, and it wasn't. So I can't promise you forever, but I can promise you today, and tomorrow, and every day after that, for as long as you'll have me. That's enough, she said. That's more than enough. The ring slid onto her finger. Patricia pronounced us married. Tyler and Lily threw flower petals they'd been hoarding in their pockets. At the reception, Dave cornered me by the bar. You did good, little brother. Yeah? Yeah, Mom would be proud. Think so? I know so. She always said you had a good heart. You just needed to find someone who deserved it. I looked across the yard at Mia, laughing with her sister about something. At Tyler and Lily chasing fireflies in the dusk. At the small group of people who'd shown up to witness something good being built. I think I finally did. October 2025. 2 years since the grocery list. Tyler's 11 now. Taller than Mia, almost as tall as me. He joined the school robotics club and won a regional competition with a device that sorts recycling. Sarah was at the ceremony. She'd been doing better finally. The texts had stopped. The court dates had stopped. Whatever she was working through, she was doing it privately. We don't talk much, but when we do, it's civil. About Tyler, about logistics. The scar tissue is formed. Mia and I bought a bigger house last month. 4 bedrooms, so the kids each have their own space. Lily decorated hers with posters of bands I've never heard of. Tyler's room has blueprints taped to the walls, designs for robots he wants to build. I still work at the distribution center, day hours mostly, home by dinner. Last week, Tyler asked if he could see the old house sometime, the one where he grew up, where everything happened. Why? I asked. I don't know. I just want to see it. Make sure it's still there. We drove by on a Saturday morning. New family lives there now. Different car in the driveway, different curtains in the windows, a trampoline in the backyard that wasn't there before. Looks different, Tyler said. Houses change. People change. He was quiet for a minute. Then, Dad? I'm glad you found that list. What do you mean? I know it was bad. I know everything that happened after was really hard. But if you hadn't found it, we'd still be there. And I'd still be keeping secrets. And you'd still be sad all the time. He looked at me, dead serious. Now we have Mia, and Lily, and tacos. That's better. I reached over and ruffled his hair. He ducked away, grinning. Yeah, bud, that's better. We drove home. The end.